What's up, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links video. In today's Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links video, I'm going to be talking about a new deck from the recent mini box Curse of Dread, and I'm going to be talking about the Vendread archetype. Also, sorry if I mispronounce any of the cards in this video or mispronounce the archetype. Personally, I don't care about how I pronounce the cards because for me it works fine, but I know a lot of people in the comment section have criticized me on me pronouncing cards correctly or not. So throughout the video, if I mispronounce a card, oh well, but I'm just warning you now. But today I'm going to give you guys my first impressions on the Vendread archetype. I'm going to give you guys some replays of me losing with the deck, but they were super good replays in my opinion, and the matchup was actually super cool. So I'm going to give you guys, it's kind of like a reason to showcase the weaknesses of the deck and all that stuff. And then last but not least, in the video, I'm going to be showcasing some replays that I did win a lot of duels with. It's going to have some awesome music in the background, but keep in mind with those replays, it's actually going to be showcasing two different decks. It's going to be showcasing my Vendread deck that I showcased yesterday on my live stream and I was experimenting with, and then the one that I'm going to show you guys very soon is completely different, though you'll see some replays for that also. So there's that right there. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and let's get into it. Also, sorry for not releasing this video much sooner. I would have liked to release this video late last night on Monday, but I kind of got sidetracked a little bit. Somebody in my Discord, my boy Wolf, was decided to count from 1 to 2,000, and I was there the entire time, or at least for the trek from 1,000 to 2,000 last night. So I'll showcase some video footage of that. It was a very good meme in Discord, but that's the reason why I did not make a video on this deck yesterday.
998, 97, I don't care at this point. 1,998, 1,999, 2,000.
Let's go!
Yo, you did it, bud. You did it. You get the roll.
With that out of the way, let's get into today's Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links video. So here's my Vendread deck. I'm calling it Dreading the End because it just sounded cool to me. It was just some words rolled off the tongue. Doesn't have any deeper meaning, so don't think about it too much. But I'm calling it Dreading the End because it sounds cool. And this is my current Vendread deck that I'm going to be showcasing for this video. Now, this is most likely not going to be my final version of the deck, and I'm probably going to be experimenting with other different types of decks because, one, I cannot find a version of this deck that I personally enjoy playing. Like, there hasn't been some sort of combos that I just like a lot, and I just haven't found that yet for me, which is a little bit annoying, but it is what it is right here. But this is the version that I'm going to be rocking with right now. There's definitely going to be changes to this deck when I make another video on Vendreads if I ever get around to it. No promises though, because I hate saying things and not fulfilling them. So no promises if I make another video on Vendreads, but if I do, the deck's going to be pretty different right there. But this is the deck that I'm going to be kind of referencing for this video. This is the deck that I'm currently been working with, and it's going to showcase some of the combos and stuff that you can do with Vendreads. But yeah, Vendreads are right here, and let's get into it. So the current deck list I'm going to be rocking right now is 2 copies of Slayer, 2 copies of Executor, 2 copies of BattleLord, 2 copies of Spear Karibo. This card might be changed later on, but we're rocking 2 copies of Spear Karibo, 2 copy of Vendread Revenants, 2 copies of Sound Horde, 2 copies of Origin. If I could rock 3 copies of this card, I would. Rocking 3 copies of Vendread Evolution, 1 copy of Contract with the Abyss, and 2 copies of Vendread Knights. And the skill we're going to be rocking is Beatdown. Beatdown is a very good skill for this deck because it's going to help you get over certain monsters that have 3,000 attack and so on and so forth. So Beatdown, very good skill for this deck. I was originally rocking Level Duplication, which you will see in some of the replays at the very end of this video, but for now we are not rocking Level Duplication. It didn't work as well as I would want it to, but I might go back to that skill if I can figure out a cool combo with Level Duplication. But for now we're going to be rocking Beatdowns, probably the best one for this deck. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes of my first impressions on the deck and kind of talk about some combos that I do and do not like about certain cards. And I guess first things first, we can kind of just talk about this card right here. And I have some mixed opinions on Vendread Revolution, but after watching some videos from Playmaker Duel Links and Duel Links Best Decks, I kind of learned how to properly use this card, but I'm still going to talk about it nonetheless. I kind of talk about the things I like and don't like about it. So Vendread Revolution, this card can be used to ritual summon any Vendread ritual monster from your hand or graveyard. You must also tribute monsters from your hand or field and or send 1 Vendread monster from your deck to the graveyard whose total levels equal the level of the ritual monster you ritual summon. The ritual summon monster is destroyed during the end phase of the next turn. You only can activate 1 Vendread Evolution per turn. The thing I don't like about this card the most is the fact that your monster gets destroyed at the end phase. Now, after watching some videos from Playmaker Duel Links and Duel Links Best Decks, I kind of learned that the proper way to go for Vendread Evolution is honestly to use this card to summon into Vendread Slayer. That's probably the best combo to go for when you're going to be using Vendread Evolution, because I hate it when I summon into either Executor or Battlelord because they're more valuable in the situation in the duel, and then they eventually get kaputted at the end of the end phase during the next turn. But what's good about this is that if this ritual summon card is sent to the graveyard, you can add a ritual spell card from your deck to your hand and then send a Vendread monster from your deck to the graveyard. So the most ideal combo to go into with Vendread Evolution is to summon into Slayer. So when Slayer does get killed by the card effect, you can use it Slayer's effect to search for a origin and then go into either Executor or Battlelord. So keep that in mind with this card. But like I said, the thing I just don't like about this card is that you need to the monster gets destroyed at the end phase of the turn. And another thing I don't like either is that the total levels have to equal the ritual monster. It can't equal or exceed the ritual monster. It has to equal completely. And with how this deck that I'm rocking with currently, it will not work correctly for a couple of reasons. It's just because how this deck is built, the only way I can go into Slayer with this card is if I use 2 Sound Hordes and all that stuff right there. And that's why if you are going to probably play this deck, I'd recommend teching in 1 Vendread Sturgis, because this is a 2-star zombie monster, and you can use your 4-star Revenants and your 2-star Sturgis to go into Slayer with this card. So that's a better thing to go for, and I'm probably going to drop either my Contract of the Abyss or my Spear Karibo to add that 2-star Vendread card into the deck so that I can easily use Evolution to go into Slayer. And yeah, I just don't really like Evolution for that kind of purposes, because I hate that the monster gets destroyed during the end phase. So if you summon into, you know, Executor, you're kind of screwed over. And then I don't like that the total levels have to equal the level of the ritual monster. It makes sense of why it has to happen, but I just personally don't like that, especially how my deck is built, and that's why I'm going to need to be making changes to my deck later. And that's why this video isn't a deck list, like advertising a deck list. This is just my first impressions on the deck from the playtesting that I have done. Another thing that I don't like about Vendreads too much is the effect monsters. Now, the effect monsters are really good, but there's just one specific wording with the deck that I just personally don't like. So let's go talk about Revenants and Sound Horde. So first thing with Revenants and Sound Horde, they both have 2 unique effects. With Revenants, if this card in your possession is destroyed by opponent's card by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. That's pretty cool because it's basically a little bit of a floater right there, which I like about him. What's cool about Sound Horde is that if this card's in your graveyard, you can discard 1 Vendread card, special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. So these both have some floaty effects, which is very nice, and I do like that. Now, where I kind of have some gripes with the effect monsters of Vendreads, and this is pretty much the same for all the Vendread effect monsters that are non-ritual monsters, is that a Vendread monster ritual summon using this card on the field gains this effect. You only can use the preceding effect of the Vendread Revenants once per turn. So basically what I don't like about it is that if you want to trigger the extra effects of the effect monsters for your ritual monsters, you need to have the Revenant monsters on the field in order to trigger them. Now, this makes a lot of sense of why it needs to be on the field in order to trigger them, because this deck would be absolutely broken if you can use Evolution, ritual summon with these effect monsters from the deck, send them to the graveyard, and then special summon your ritual monster, and then the ritual monster gains the effects of your monsters that you just sent from the deck to the graveyard. I think that would be broken and overpowered, but at the same time, I don't like that that's the case, but I understand why that's the case. But if you do get to do the combos going, it's really good when you ritual summon one of your ritual monsters with this one right here. It gets the quick effect. You can target a special summon monster opponent controls, banish it. Super good. And then with this card, it gains the effect if you ritual summon a ritual monster using this card, Sound Horde. It gains the effect once per turn, quick effect. You can target a spell and trap card your opponent controls and banish it. Both super good effects. You can use them on either player's turn, which is actually amazing. So yeah, if you like, Sound Horde and Revenants on your Battlelord, your Battlelord is literally able to banish a monster per turn and get rid of a spell and trap card per turn. And also with the banishing monster thing, a special summon monster specifically, but each turn you can get rid of a special summon monster per turn, and you can get rid of a spell and trap card once per turn, which is crazy. It's just both players' turn. It works great. So I do like that. I just hate that they have to be on the field in order to trigger it, but I understand why it's the case. And yeah, I think that's kind of it for when it comes to my complaints with the deck. So far, yeah, it's a fun deck, but like I've said, I haven't found a deck that I personally enjoy using the most when it comes to this archetype. What's really handicapping me though is I only have 2 copies of Origin, because Origin is the only one that doesn't have any restrictions when it comes to ritual summoning the monster for the most part. You can either make the levels equal or exceed the level of the ritual ritual monster you summon into. So if you use Origin, you can use you can summon Slayer with like an 8-star monster and it wouldn't matter. Unlike other cases with Vendread Evolution and Contract the Abyss, you need to have a monster levels that equal to level 6. No other way you can do it. So, which had 3 copies of Origin in that instance, but sadly Duel Links RNG did not give me what I wanted, which was a big sad, so I'm kind of handicapped right there. So you gotta have to do some workarounds, and like I said, I probably just need to start rocking 1 copy of this card so I can utilize Evolution a little bit better whenever I get into Slayer, so I can kind of go for the Slayer combo right there. So that's definitely something I'm also going to have to consider when playing this deck. And I'm probably going to be eventually dropping Contract the Abyss. The only reason why I was rocking is because, one, I wanted the 6th copy of a ritual spell in my deck, because for my Duel Links RNG, my Duel Links RNG does not like giving me ritual spells. I don't know what it is, but it makes me very annoyed in a lot of duels, that's for sure. So that's why if you see any of my future ritual decks, most likely there's going to be rocking a lot of copies of the ritual spell cards or ritual monsters, whatever case may be, because my Duel Links RNG is just all over the place sometimes. So there's that right there. So that's why I was rocking this card, because I just needed an extra ritual monster. And what's nice about Contract the Abyss is that it doesn't destroy your ritual monster after the turn, but it does also have that same handicap where the levels have to be exactly the level of the ritual monster you summon into. You can't exceed it at all, like with Evolution. So probably gonna drop Contract the Abyss and add a different card, but for now it's kind of why I'm rocking it, is because I just want ritual spells and I do not have a 3rd copy of Origin, sadly. There's that right there. Other cards I like is Vendread Knights. You can discard a card and add a Vendread monster for a deck to your hand, which is very nice, so I don't really have to worry about searchability stuff right there, which is a super cool in my opinion. And yeah, that's kind of it with the deck. 3k beater, really good. BattleLord negates any effect that you want for the rest of the turn. You can negate a monster spell or trap effect after you ritual summon this monster for the rest of the turn. Super good ability. You can attack it to like a Silent Magician, for example, and with BattleLord, and make your opponent not be able to special summon their Silent Magician level 8 through this card. Super good card. Slayer really gets the deck going, and I'm going to probably start utilizing this card much more efficiently than I was in the replays you're going to see in today's video. And there's that stuff right there. But after, you know, recording this segment of the video, there's definitely new stuff that I'm going to be definitely trying out. But like I said, throughout this video, this is my first impressions review on the deck itself. Anyways, though, I think that's going to be it for me. I probably forgot something that I did want to say in this video, but I hope you guys learned something new. But let's get into the replays that I did lose in, but they were super good duels. So the first replay I'm going to be showing you guys is me using Yusei with level duplication with a Vendread deck that's very similar to the one that I just showed you guys earlier in the video. I'm going against a Loomis and Umbra, and this guy had a crazy deck that I wanted to showcase to you guys. But yeah, there's going to be misplays in this replay. I'm going to be showing you guys some like live gameplay on what you can do with this deck, and there's a lot of really cool things that you can do with Vendreads, but this guy's deck was also super cool that I want to showcase into this video. Anyways, though, I opened up with a very like mediocre hand where I couldn't ritual summon into anything, but besides the fact that personally for me, when it comes to playing ritual decks, I hate ritual summoning turn 1 as it is. Not the biggest deal in the world, but like I said in the deck list portion of the video, I just never open up with ritual spell cards, and it's the most annoying thing in the world. So yeah, I'm going to set the Vendread Revenants, and we're just going to kind of go from there, and I just passed my turn because this guy's a little bit of a floaty, and we're just going to kind of go from there. But this guy's doing some crazy stuff right here. First of all, he's going to play the Light and Dark, reveals a Breaker, the Magic Warrior, puts it back to the deck, and adds the Silent Magician, and then of course, he has another Breaker, a Magical Warrior in his hand, which is just ridiculous in the first place. He's going to give himself a counter, and then he's going to set a face down card in his Field Stone to then pop Gear Town through Breaker's effect to special summon a Ancient Gear Reactor Dragon. Oh boy, things are getting pretty spicy already. So what happens is that he's going to tribute off his Breaker, the Magical Warrior, get rid of his Breaker, the Magical Warrior to go into Silent Magician, and he's going to use the Silent Magician to attack into my Vendread Revenants. Probably, well, he wanted to go for more damage in this situation, but maybe he should have attacked with his Reactor Dragon, but it is what it is right there. But my Vendread Revenants is going to get destroyed by Silent Waifu, and then I'm going to special summon it back in attack position because Ancient Gear Reactor Dragon does piercing damage, so I'd rather put him in attack position to take less damage because I put him in defense position, would have taken 2,800 points of damage, and that would have been an oof. So yeah, he attacks with his Reactor Dragon, and I only take 1,200 points of damage, and now things get pretty spicy because I top deck into Origin. Now, what this oopsie, a big oopsie that happened was that Loomis and Umbra decided to negate my Vendread Knights. Still, it was a, you know, an option. It was still a good idea to probably negate it because now I can't search out for any Vendread monsters that I specifically want. But due to him negating that, it gave me free reign to summon into or summon with my Vendread Origin card. And thank goodness that I went with my Vendread Origin card because it would have been a little bit difficult to ritual summon into certain things. But in this situation, I go for Vendread BattleLord, and I'm going to be using Vendread Origin for this situation right here. What I do is that I use the effect of BattleLord to negate not monster effects, and then I go swing into the Silent Magician right there. If I had beat down, I would have been able to inflict 1,000 points of damage, but it is what it is right there. But now we're going to be getting attacked by the Ancient Gear Reactor Dragon, and sadly my monster gets destroyed because due to Ancient Gear Reactor Dragon's effect, I can't activate any of my cards during the damage step. So sadly, I couldn't protect my Battle Lord through the effect of, what was it called, that SR Ritual card Origin. So I couldn't protect my Battle Lord right there, but I top deck into Evolution, use Evolution to then Ritual Summon into that big boy right here. We're going to summon into Vendread Executor. We're going to pitch one of our other executors from the deck into the graveyard so we can ritual summon into this boy and kind of go from there. Next up, we're going to attack with Origin, or we're going to attack with Vendread Slayer. This is another situation where I should have been just playing Beatdown in the first place, because then I wouldn't have to sacrifice one of my Vendread Origin spell cards. So that was a big waste right there, but we did get over the Ancient Gear Reactor Dragon, which is pretty good. Sadly, due to the effect, actually, I'm forgetting which effect that actually did that. Never mind, I just had a brain fart right there. I thought that I didn't ritual summon my Executor with Vendread Evolution because I thought that I ritual summoned it with Origin for a second, but no, that was not the case. Origin just protect my monster, but Evolution was the card that I used to ritual summon it with it, and that's why Executor got could put it. And Executor doesn't have any searchability effects, so I didn't gain anything from that, which is a big oof. Top decked into a Origin though, so I'm going to be ritual summoning into Battle Lord, which was a pretty good call by me because I'm going to be using Battle Lord's effect to not let monster cards happen, and I was able to stop him from utilizing his Fire King Avatar Yaksha. Sadly, this guy had another Fire King Avatar Yaksha crashed into me and then trigger its effect to destroy a Gear Town to summon an Ancient Gear Reactor Dragon. I didn't even know that this was possible, and I'm like glad that I chose the right call to summon into Battle Lord to stop a monster effect from happening like that. Bruh. That is just, I did not know you could do that. Makes sense that you could do it, but I did not know you could do that. Can't protect my monster yet again because of Reactor Dragon's effect. I get Vendread Knights as my top deck, and I can't do anything from there. Big sad right there. I lost the duel right there. It was a super cool duel though, and I wanted to showcase this on the video because it was a good way to showcase like how this deck works and all that stuff right there. But it is a big oof that happened in the first place. So that was a big oof. So the next duel I'm going to be showcasing right now is a matchup of me utilizing Jack Atlas with the skill Beatdown on the Vendread deck that I just showed you guys earlier in the video versus a Maximilian Pegasus. And this was of course another duel that I lost, but this was a pretty interesting duel and I honestly could not expect what happened. Like the ending of this duel is going to blow your mind. Anyways though, very bad opening hand. Like I said, ritual spells hate me, but we have a very bad opening hand. Big fat brick. Pass turn immediately. Thank goodness we have Puppy Spear Karibo to help us out. But the beginning of this duel is very Resident Sleeper. We top deck it to another Spear Karibo. Now this is where things get pretty dicey. Now what I was gonna do is a little bit of some cheese right here. I was gonna turn my toggle off and make sure that I don't need to use my Spear Karibos and make sure that Maximilian Pegasus doesn't know that I got a couple of copies of Spear Karibo, but that did not happen because he activated Toon Rollback, and that would OTK my booty hole. So that's why I had to discard that Spear Karibo to go into there. So that was a big yikes right there. We get to Vendread Knights. I'm going to use Vendread Knights to thin out my deck, get into the Vendread Revenants. From what I've read, it didn't seem like Toon Dark Magician Girl had any protection effects while Toon World is face up on the field, and Pegasus clearly didn't have his Toon Kingdom field spell on the field either. So I go into my Revenants, and I'm going to go swing, but Maximilian Pegasus goes for that Spear Karibo. No Toon Dark Magician Girl out of the game. And then we get direct attacked right here. I'm going to take it. I think I have my toggle off in this situation, but we're going to take the 2k points of damage. Probably should have done that, but you'll find out why later in the video, but we take the 2k damage right there. Boom, bada bang. Next up, we go for the draw. We finally get a card that we can use. We go into the Contract of the Abyss. I'm going to discard my Executor to search out into Sound Horde so that we can use Contract of the Abyss to ritual summon into. So that's going to happen right here. Contract the Abyss. We're going to ritual summon right here. Boom, boom. And we're going to go into our Vendread Battle Lord with all the effects. He's going to be able to stop any spell, trap, or spell effect defending our monster spell or trap effect that I want to happen. We're going to be able to banish a card, and we're going to be able to banish special summon monster on this turn, which is very spicy. But this is where things get dicey for me. Pegasus had an enemy controller, and sadly, of course, the monster was Psychic Ace that he goes. So he tributes off his Psychic Ace with enemy controller, takes my Battle Lord, and then while this was happening, I turned my toggle to on to trigger my Battle Lord effect so I can get rid of his Toon Kingdom and get rid of his Toon Dark Magician Girl. Sadly, with the effect of Psychic Ace, I can target any card on the field, so Pegasus targeted the Battle Lord that he just got on his team, and then what I do is I search for Executor and send out get rid of Slayer. Maybe should have been the other way, but it didn't really matter because this is what happened in this situation. We see a Junk Synchron. We see a Psychic Ace. He goes into the Synchro Summon of Armades, and then he just takes me out. And by the way, look at that. He has a Prismatic Armades Keeper of the Boundaries. So he smacked me up silly right here. I did not expect that. I was expecting a more tuned deck, so that's why I didn't even think about trying to get rid of or trying to combat against our mages, because if I really wanted to, what I could have done on that turn is that since I had my, if I remember correctly, I had a Sound Horde in my graveyard, so I could have discarded my new Revenant monster that I just top decked into, and then use Sound Horde, special summon it onto the field, and then survive another turn, the hope to top deck into one of my ritual spell cards. But I wasn't expecting that to happen. I was expecting him to deal with another Toon monster or something like that, so that's why I had my Spear Creepo in hand. I was just gonna just chill. I should have waited. And then I was just like boom, bada, bang. I guess in this situation though, now thinking about it, I guess no matter what, I should have summoned into my Sound Horde as it is, because I can still ritual summon from the graveyard, either or. Doesn't matter which like spell ritual card that I top decked into, so I guess no matter what I should have went into Sound Horde, but I felt like keeping it in my hand for whatever reason, because I'm still pretty inexperienced with this deck. But took that L right there. Definitely wasn't expecting a Junk Synchron, but that was a super good duel nonetheless. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed seeing me take some L's with this brand new deck, but I hope you guys learned something from showcasing those duel replays and all that stuff. But now I'm going to be showing you guys a bunch of duel replays that I've won some duels in, and I got some pretty cool matchups from that, so be sure to enjoy that. Be sure to like the video if you've been enjoying it so far, and subscribe to the channel for more Duel Links related content. And yeah, it's gonna be it for me. Thank you so much for watching. I'll go see you guys in the next Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links video. Enjoy the rest of the replays.